Gotta talk about the gorilla, bro. We have to. Bro, love his videos though. Yeah, I'm gonna start reacting to more of his stuff. I've seen him around before. I definitely want to react to more casual Geographic. Gorilla's killing people, injuring almost everyone there. Everyone, like I would say, 85 people are getting injured, bare minimum. 85 people are getting hurt. Like they're getting some type of injury, right? They getting fucked up some type of way. I would say good 30 of them probably might die, you know, from something, maybe. If the gorilla is dedicated to killing them, I think maybe they'll catch 30 bodies. And that, I might be being generous with that. I think 85 of them will be injured. I think 15 will be okay. All right, like 15 are gonna have like barely any scratches on them. You know, they're gonna have some scratches. That's it. And that's it. You know, that's what I feel is gonna happen, bro. All right. Gorilla gonna get tired, bro. He just will be. Gorilla gonna get tired. Let's go. Let's go. Ah, fuck.
Newest online debate.
All right, let's go.
100 men versus one gorilla is just the newest online debate brought to you by people that have way too much time on their hands.
Yes.
And I'm no better because here I am making a video.
I had too much time.
It's quickly gone from silly Twitter talk to what has to be a massive joke that I'm not in on. What's clear is one side is getting drastically overrated, while people obviously aren't taking the other side seriously. Plus,
okay.
I love animals and arguments, so if you're looking for a video to
I like where he's going with this. I like where he's going.
I'm going to break down the question you probably didn't care about in the first place, and by the end,
the girl punching 100.
This was ever even a question. So here's the full truth of whether 100 unarmed men could beat one prime silverback gorilla.
Okay,
first,
that's what I'm saying.
Understand what force of nature we're up against.
I told y'all. I told y'all. I'm definitely gonna probably watch some of these videos. There's some of these I do want to watch, but like I'm telling y'all, like. The gorilla's strong, but like y'all, come on, y'all treating the gorilla like he Thanos, bro. I'm sorry.
So to not repeat myself too much,
he's not him, not that much of him.
For further context,
he's not Madara, bro.
Everything
Damn.
we thought about gorillas back in the day was wrong. They're giant, non-violent, fart-happy pacifists, and the most dangerous thing about them is they can misunderstand regular human actions as an act of war. So while if you smile at a silverback enough times, he eventually will put beats on you like a Cherokee drum.
They don't try to fight.
The gorilla's just worried about the 6,000 calories he eats a day.
Yeah, but I say gorillas are more peaceful. Y'all talking about a chimpanzee, then that's different. They be crazy.
Dragged to resize. The result is an alpha ape with a stronger bite force than a grizzly, allegedly. Hands that can crush a crocodile's skull, allegedly. And just strength that we really have no way to truly comprehend.
Oh shit!
That man fully didn't plan to get casually wrecked.
Damn, he took that man as an honor. He's like, you coming with me?
Gorillas might default to peace, but life is multiple choice. The question is, what kind of carnage comes when they choose violence? It's hard to imagine what a fully malice-motivated gorilla can do because it takes a lot for them to
fight if they can. That's what I'm saying. They're pacifists, bro.
It involves using body language and gestures to send a message before hands even have to be thrown. Because for an animal that can spend over 12 hours a day eating, wasting calories on fights is poor resource management. The second phase of escalation usually involves pushing, grappling, and screaming in really short bursts. Gorillas fight the way they fuck. What I mean is, the phase they run are like how they're hung. Not long at all. Because again, most times gorillas don't actually want to fight. But what about when they do? Yeah, that would be phase 3.
Yeah.
That usually happens when two silverbacks throw down for control of a group. Losing such would mean losing the 3 Fs: food, family, and the FCC won't let me finish, but stakes can make these fights to the death, and here's where we can see what gorillas are truly capable of.
That is true.
I found a research paper that detailed the injuries sustained in gorilla-on-gorilla fights, and based on that, you see a pattern. Those teeth are for more than just undressing trees.
Yeah, now the teeth are also scary.
Lacerations and puncture wounds all over the body. And unlike a leopard, which leaves small puncture wounds, the canines of a gorilla cause large gaping tears in victims. Even if the gorilla's bite strength has
them teeth. Now them teeth, that's scary. I ain't gonna lie, that shit's scary. They'll bite your head off, bro.
The injury sustained in gorilla-on-gorilla fights.
That's what I'm saying. People gonna get hurt. They're gonna be injured people all over the place.
Undressing trees, and losers are often found with lacerations and puncture wounds all over the body. And unlike a leopard, which leaves small puncture wounds, the canines of a gorilla cause large gaping tears in victims. Even if the gorilla's bite strength has been exaggerated, which we will get into, even lowballing them puts them at the level of a hyena. One gorilla named Shuti had his foot completely crushed with the tips of his fingers and ear bitten off. Gorillas also use their arms.
Damn, why that gorilla beat his ass.
They've also been known to pull chunks of hair out with their hands. So safe to say, a gorilla's stiff arm to the back would crack.
Donkey Kong fucking us up though, low-key.
And could dislocate or break human bones by accident. And one of the victims also recorded with bite wounds.
You said get your ass down. Yeah, he on his ass.
20 feet away after a gorilla puts jaws on you. So what chance would an army of humans have against a 500-pound berserker? Well, hot take. Gorillas have been drastically overrated in many ways. First, as fighters. Gorillas aren't efficient fighters. They're more physical brawlers and grapplers. And with everything I've said,
that's what I'm
most fights last
saying.
anywhere from a couple seconds to 1 to 2 minutes at the most. Also, as strong as gorillas are, their strength has been overrated. There are some animals that just get more and more OP the more people talk about them. Chimps have been said to have the strength of 8 men when really it's closer to 1.5. It's just that they're stronger in all the ways that can kill you.
Now I will say, that's what I'm saying. Now we're talking about a chimp. A chimp's gonna be more deadly than a gorilla because chimps are actually crazy. You know what I mean? Gorillas are nice, bro. Chimps are crazy. Hey, what's up, LDK? Hope you're doing good. Yeah, no, chimps are crazy. Like, if you gave a gorilla a chimp's mind, that might be scary. Like, just straight up, because like they are crazy. They will jump you. They will kill you. They know how to kill. You know what I mean? Gorillas are they just fight. They're like a drunk man fighting, you know?
Really, it's closer to 1.
At a bar, you know? They fight like that.
All the ways that can kill you. And grizzly bears are already big enough, but then you got people claiming they could decapitate a full-grown moose with one swipe. Now, what idiot would say that? And this debate has people swearing a gorilla would rip a whole man in half like a phone book with nary a sweat. I think the gorilla propaganda peaked when this was an actual debate. Dr. Strange can conjure up 14 million realities. You won't find one where a plus-size protein-packing primate can do anything to a full-strength grizzly bear taking him seriously. Especially since there's a much smaller predator known to give gorillas problems. Gorillas have been documented getting preyed on by African leopards.
That is true. That is true.
Even with jungle leopards being bulkier due to less competition, that's still an at most.
Y'all watch Tarzan or not?
Cat past tensing Optimus Prime. Now let me be fair. These are rare, and leopards usually go for hoofed animals, wild pigs, and monkeys. Gorillas are actually too big.
Did y'all watch Tarzan? I'm just saying. We seen who got bodied by who, you know?
That paper listing gorilla on gorilla violence also showed.
Now, granted, Tarzan also bodied a. You know what? I ain't gonna bring that up. Never mind.
All victims took bite wounds to the head and most of the arms, with lacerations localized about the neck and claw marks on the trunk. So even though it is rare and a one-on-one between a silverback and a leopard might murk both, if a gorilla can struggle with less than 200 pounds, a 900-pound ratio would give Harambe a bunkmate. Also, against 100 men, there are some very real issues that could be game over for the gorilla. The big one is endurance. Gorillas are to being hot girl fit. They're best using explosive.
I told y'all endurance is such a big thing. I told y'all, I know this about gorillas because I've heard, because they consume so much calories and stuff. So that's why I'm like, they won't last long, bro. They'll take out like a good 20 people. Like 20 people probably will die, you know, but like after that, it's gonna get tired.
Also, really against 100 men, there are some very real issues that could be game over.
I didn't really watch Tarzan. Well, Tarzan's dad, who was a gorilla, got bodied by a. What did he get bodied by? A panther? A tiger? What did he get bodied? I forgot. He got bodied by a big cat, though. A big cat bodied Tarzan's dad, which was a gorilla. So
they're best using explosive bursts of energy, not sustained strain.
I think the mom also got bodied.
And a fight against 100 humans would likely last hours, which is really bad considering compared to us, gorillas have poor temperature control. Gorillas don't have as many sweat glands as humans, and if we're talking about mountain gorillas, the thick fur would make it a 101 versus 1. The men, and the risk of heat stroke. That is, if the ape doesn't just have a heart attack. Cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death.
Why did he fall back like that? Is he okay? Oh my god, y'all saw that gorilla fell back?
That is, if the ape doesn't just have a
shit.
heart attack. Cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in gorillas in zoos, and 70% of male gorillas in zoos suffer from heart disease that'll past tense them prematurely. Now that might just apply to zoo gorillas, but it's still a factor. Another is the very temperament of the gorilla is highly non-confrontational. They're more likely to run away than run a fade.
Bro, that's a goose, bro. Look at it.
Grappling build is not a good combat style against multiple enemies. We know that because there's another African predator that's been giving gorillas hell, and you may not have even realized it. And it's weird because for a while, gorillas and chimpanzees seem like they were on good terms.
Oh, it's
They've been
chimps.
reported foraging together, and
I told y'all chimps are crazy, bro.
That all changed when the chimps started chimping. A couple years ago in Luambo,
I told y'all, chimps are crazy.
Scientists witnessed a gang of 18 chimps jump a gorilla family of 5. That's 3 females, 1 baby, and a silverback. The turf war lasted an hour, and even with the silverback apparently testing ragdoll physics, throwing chimps in the air, and even managing to injure 3, eventually he was surrounded.
Yo, he got hit by his leg, bro. I'm telling y'all, some people gonna get thrown around. Like that's the only thing. Like that's a person getting thrown the fuck away.
Throwing chimps in the air and even managing to injure 3. Eventually, he was surrounded and chased off by 9 chimps. The adults got away, but the chimps managed to snatch the baby gorilla of the group, which was promptly eaten. The second attack involved
Oh
27
no.
chimpanzees and
That's
7
actually
gorillas,
sad.
and this time, the silverback made a business decision and immediately climbed out of the trees and fled the scene.
Handle chimps are going crazy.
Comparing durians to jackfruit. The moral here is the one gorilla can not only be overwhelmed, but neutralized by numbers. Because if there's one thing that's being dangerously underrated, it's the power of friendship. Don't laugh, I'm serious. If you remember this picture, then you know this was the 100 Men, 1 Gorilla of 2018. It's pretty self-explanatory. Everything here is coming for your life, except the 2 you pick to run defense for you. And I'm just gonna kill the suspense. If one of those picks isn't the 10,000 rats, you have no idea how big 10,000 is. Add Eagles for aerial support, and the rest of the field would have over 200 rats to deal with each. And it's cause the power of plurality is one of the most broken strategies in nature. Mobbing refers to an anti-predator behavior where prey animals approach, harass,
that's what I'm saying. Y'all underestimating the group effort, bro. I've seen so many animals who are way weaker than one animal beat an animal because of a group. You know what I mean? Like it's like a debate between like, oh, can a bunch of bees, like I've seen this before, can a bunch of bees beat a wasp? Yes. Straight up, a wasp can one shot a bee, just straight up. It'll tear its head off. But like if you have a bunch of wasps to get a bunch of bees on a wasp, the wasp is dying. That wasp is taking out maybe a couple bees, but it's gonna die. You know what I mean? Any group jumping something is going to win at some point because it's just overwhelming it. The only time it depends is the number. You know what I mean? Like an elephant can fuck up a bunch of things. An elephant can fuck up lions bad, bro. You know what I mean? But you get 100 lions versus an elephant, the elephant dying. You know what I mean? That elephant's dying, bro. The elephant's gonna stomp out some lions, but it's gonna die. You know? It's just gonna get jumped. At some point, it's overwhelmed and it's gonna get jumped.
Almost
it's gonna be
impossible matchup in their favor.
GG.
One hyena to a lion is a chew toy. Add 20 and it's a life lesson.
The wasp is melting literally, yeah. It'll melt it.
Areas and even actively following the sounds of orca hunts.
You know the video, Josh.
Weaponize unity in nature, but probably my favorite case of what's akin to a mob happens off the coast of South Africa, where fur seals have to risk their spot on the census every time they check the fridge. Because the seals can't go out for groceries without the chance of running into the biggest predatory fish on Earth.
Oh shit.
Every year, great white sharks will gather around fur seal nurseries and snatch any inexperienced pups. The problem is so many sharks show up that a seal can dodge one great white right into the jaws of another. You've seen this movie before, but there's an alternate ending. Scientists have recorded fur seals squatting up into one giant group and using their numbers to turn on the sharks closing in. And as the mob gets bigger, the seal force gets more confident, leading to them escorting the 20-foot assault submarine.
They say, "What you want, bitch?
So
Come here, bitch."
Now it doesn't seem like a stretch to favor 100 men over just one gorilla. You could argue that the CEOs and the other mob merchants aren't actually getting physical with their final boss. That's true. Everyone's asking if 100 men could off a gorilla. No one's asking how. Well, that's why I'm here. But first, obligatory, don't try this on a gorilla, or at least don't blame me for the consequences if you do. In a fight against a simian.
Casual Geographic, should you tell us how to do this? Because they're gonna be people that try, bro. This is bad. This is a bad idea.
One's asking if
this is a bad idea. I don't know about this one.
No one's asking how. Well, that's why.
They said run it then. No facts.
Don't try this on a gorilla, or at least don't blame me.
Them seals are not playing with the freaking shark, bro.
In a fight against a simian weighing a shack and a half, it's all about attacking the weak points, and a gorilla's weak points are the same as ours: eyes, throat, mouth, and for measure, the jewels of the South.
I told you.
About delivering damage.
Someone's gonna go for the privates, bro. They're gonna grab that shit. I'm kidding. We talked about kicking this shit. Someone's gonna kick that shit. Someone's gonna hit him in the eye. Someone's gonna stab his eyes, bro. Like he can't see. You know what I mean? Like it's tough, bro. It's tough.
Throat, mouth, and for measure, the jewels of the South.
It's
all about delivering damage that actually matters, and to do that, someone would have to perform the Draymond Green special.
Not the Draymond. Ah, shit.
Someone else would have to suffocate the supersized simian, either by bear hugging his windpipe, which only Tarzan backpacking plot armor can do, or by shoving your entire arm down his throat. And since you're already negotiating your arm elbow deep in esophagus, you'd also have to pull the gorilla's tongue out. I call that the leopard method, because a 73-year-old once soloed an attacking leopard by reaching into its mouth and ripping out the leopard's liquor. And speaking of grabbing people, someone would have to be elected to perform Draymond's final smash and go for the gorillas unmentionable.
Yo, Draymond would be perfect for this fight. Actually, where Draymond at? Yo, where Draymond at? Actually, Draymond be perfect for this fight. Where Draymond at, bro? He need to be in this. He need to be part of this shit, bro. Where Draymond at? Where is Draymond at, bro? We need him in this fight. He could do a little bit of everything, you know?
Attacking leopard by reaching into its mouth and ripping out the leopard's liquor. And
Jeez.
speaking of grab and pull, someone would have to be elected to perform Draymond's final smash.
Yo, ripping out a leopard's lip. Oh my god.
Unmentionables. Hey, don't judge. This is war.
Yes.
The rest would have to use their combined strength to pin the primate down, with the remainder delivering kicks to the gorilla's flank. The most powerful natural attack to the gorilla's most vulnerable area. That would probably be the best way to chip away at a gorilla. One problem though, this is still a gorilla we're talking about. Even with everything I said about their strength being overrated, a gorilla fighting for its life would show you destruction like you've never seen. It doesn't matter how many men, the method, or the facet, for those first few, their only outcome is a closed casket. Even if numbers eventually win, those first dozen or so men would be horrifically maimed, mutilated, or straight up murked. You can argue that if I can mention that 100 men running over the hill would intimidate even a gorilla, witnessing men getting mauled and disfigured would inflict psychological damage. There's an argument that witnessing the sheer carnage,
that's what I'm saying. A good 30 of them are probably mutilated or dead.
And you have to remember, if mobbing is natural,
80 of them are hurt straight up.
A portion of your team sees Tupac live isn't. Even animals like hyenas will fall back if they sense they don't have enough of an advantage in a clan fight. But there's a catch. The tweet that started all this said, "Dedicated to that shit. Surely if men can watch bunkmates get blown to bits in a war, then you can find a
wait, was that the original tweet? Are you serious? If that was the original tweet, if it's 100 dedicated men, yeah, that's GG. GG for gorilla. GG for gorilla. If it's 100, I told you, if it's 100 dedicated men, GG. Gorilla's cooked.
Even animals like hyenas will fall back if they sense they don't have enough of an advantage in a clan fight. But there's a catch. The tweet that started all this
said, dedicated to the shit.
Surely if men can watch bunkmates get blown to bits in a war, then you can find 100 willing to die about a gorilla. If they can withstand the visceral reaction of seeing jaws getting detached, limbs getting dislocated, and a field of open fractures,
it's just like going to war.
100 men would definitely beat a gorilla. And moral of the story, we have strayed so far from the halo of Harambe. Yeah, this is the part where I do the annoying thing and turn a tweet made by someone who definitely wouldn't pass a P-test into a lecture. But like I said in the other video, gorillas have already been getting the middle finger from humanity, either in the wild or in zoos. Whether it's trophy hunting or bushmeat, habitat loss, or an unsupervised minor, humans have the highest KD ratio against our green machine cousins.
What the gorilla do?
The gorilla has never been on record life depriving a person, even when they may have had a reason. Yet the mountain gorilla is nearly in bed with extinction mostly because of humans. But not all humans. Some dedicate their entire lives to the welfare of this giga.
Human beings,
why
bro.
I'll be donating to Virunga National Park.
Okay.
Not only do they treat and protect the gorillas there as family, they often have to risk their lives regularly going against poachers. That and the fact that I made a video detailing how to murk an endangered species makes my soul itch, so link down below if you'd like to donate as well. I'm not kidding when I say they're family. This man was seen comforting.
I was about to say, I like gorillas. I don't like, that's why the only thing I don't like about this conversation. I like gorillas.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for this.
I was say gorillas are they low key homies, bro. They're peaceful. They're very peaceful animals. So I hate that they got took into this discussion like this, but like, I like gorillas. Gorillas are cool, bro.
Comforting one of his young gorillas after his mother died. And fun fact, Virunga National is where we got this gem.
That's one of the best memes ever.
That nobody should take
gorillas
seriously.
be chilling, bro.
But I think I'm gonna start doing the animal versus animal face-off videos again. So
Damn.
Let me know what animal matchup you'd like to see me yap about. There's one I've been wanting to get into for a while. Friendly reminder that I have a book, 100 Animals That'll Bleeping End You. I'd say more, but the name's no marketing. Also, I have a Patreon.
Okay. I'm about to support Casual, bro. He's him. He's doing his thing over here, bro.
Or you might just fund my next trip. I mean, all this talk about gorillas, who knows? Maybe I'll go see one. Oh shit. Yeah, drink water, hug your mother.
I'm also hitting a like on this one.
Enough. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.
Hey man, we like my gorillas, bro. You know, I like my gorillas, bro. Oh shoot. The video just dropped, but that gorilla gonna jump through the screen, bro. No, but I like I said, I think gorillas, they're like I said, they're scary. They're gonna definitely take out a good bit of people. Some people dying. Don't get it wrong. People are gonna die to this thing, but like I said, it's not taking out 100. Y'all underestimate the strength of 100, bro. It's like 100 ants versus a damn roach. Like at some point, that roach is getting cooked, bro. You know what I mean? 100 ants versus a giant beetle. Like at some point, that beetle's gonna start getting cooked, bro. You know, it just is. It just is. But yeah, that was a good video. That was a good video. It was a good video. I love talking about the animal stuff. This is cool. I'm gonna definitely bring him back on the channel. We're gonna definitely bring Casual back on the channel.